Good kill, good kill!
Hey guys, so I went ahead and I bought the Oculus Rift S. A lot of you had reached out, recommended VR, and I was interested to try it. It's a new experience, and I pulled the trigger and I bought one. Got it about a couple weeks ago, and initially I tried it on 2.55 DCS. And I'm not gonna lie, I was a little disappointed with the graphics in 2.55. I found things to be fuzzy. I wasn't sure I was gonna keep using it for DCS if the graphics were gonna be like that. Now, granted, I maybe didn't know what I was doing, but I did a fair bit of research, and I think I bumped the graphics up as far as they would go, especially since I'm running a 1080 Ti graphics card. And they were pretty good, but not great, and it was a little disappointing for me. I will say that I put it aside for about a week and a half when it comes to DCS, and I didn't use it. I didn't see a point if the graphics were going to be that poor. And when 2.56 came out, even though it was full of bugs and all this other stuff, I found that the graphics for VR were completely different. I don't know what they did. I didn't see any mention of them improving VR graphics or anything like that, but there was a noticeable improvement. Basically, the graphics that you're seeing on your screen in 2D is exactly what I was seeing in 3D. It was about this good, maybe just 5 or 10% more fuzzy, but not noticeable. And I was very impressed. So I jumped in to do a dogfight in the F-16, and we got a AI MiG-29 up there. I don't recommend dogfighting like this against a real person, but DCS AI is not as intelligent as a real person. It's extremely difficult to explain the experience of VR to somebody who has never tried it, and all I can say is there's this weird disconnect between your brain and reality, in the sense that your brain consciously knows that you're not there, but for some reason it almost can't tell the difference. And for me that was pretty evident. Like, I'm fighting this MiG-29 here, and my hands were sweating, my forehead, my face, everything was sweating as I was trying to beat this stupid MiG. Consciously I knew that I wasn't actually in an F-16 and I wasn't actually about to die to a MiG-29, but for some reason it still felt very real. The concentration levels I found were different. I was much more engulfed in what I was doing, and for the sake of realism, like, just the way everything looks, the graphics are important for that. If the graphics aren't good, your brain can't really take it seriously, essentially, which is why 2.56 was such a dramatic improvement for me. You look at the lighting that we're seeing here, like, look at the sun off in the distance. I also think that they may have done something when it comes to tracking, or being able to see the other plane. It was very, very easy for me. Maybe it's because of the lighting or the time of day, I don't know, but I had no trouble finding this MiG-29, no trouble maintaining visual on him. I will say that the effect on your neck is not pretty initially when it comes to VR. You have to actually, it's a one-to-one head track, right? So I found myself looking backwards, essentially. I'm sitting on kind of a swivel office chair, and that helps a lot. You just swivel yourself around and look behind you, but it's still hard because you got to look up. I found myself neck back crank, trying to breathe like this and talking at the same time. So because of that, I kind of have to talk over this track post recording. Initially I was going to try to do it while I was recording the video, but it just didn't work like that because I would face away from the mic like this and I'd be cranking my head trying to see that MiG-29 behind me, right? So, which obviously helps with the realism and all that other stuff, and basically the experience here was crazy. There is a bit of motion sickness that comes with it as well on the first couple days. because the sensory inputs from your brain are just, you know, like your eyes are telling your brain that it's moving or it's inverted, but nothing else in terms of your sensory, like your hearing or your proprioceptive senses or anything like that, are feeding any other kind of information to your brain telling you that you're inverted, but your eyes are telling your brain that you're inverted. So it kind of screws up with you like that. But you know, once you get used to it. By the way, the F-16 gun sight that they added in 2.56, extremely satisfying. You know, this no tracer thing, I love it. You just put the thing on them, you pull the trigger, and you wait a couple seconds and then the impacts show up. And not only is it realistic, it's extremely, extremely satisfying to watch. So after that, you know, first couple weeks of DCS and trying to play with the graphics and get the graphics on par, and I just couldn't do it, and you know, I started to decide and think that like maybe this is the best that DCS can do. Unfortunately, you can never see what other people are seeing, right? Because they can never show you what the VR headset is showing. They can only show you what I'm showing you here, which is a 2D recording of it. Short of you being in the room with them and using their VR headset, you can never get a real experience for what it's like and what they're seeing. So I started to think that, you know, maybe this is the best that DCS can do. And so I switched over to IL-2 for a while, and I was playing World War II with VR, and that was a whole different experience as well. I'll show you a little bit of that. IL-2 is extremely fun in VR, but once again, when I came back to DCS in 2.56, extremely impressed, especially with the F-16's radar. Like, they pretty much fixed it in the sense that, you know, you can actually get a lock now when you point the bore sight at somebody. You kind of got to disengage it and re-engage it every time, TMS down, TMS up, but it does work. And once you lock them up and you put that gun sight on them, it's pretty satisfying. And just look at the lighting. Look at the lighting here. It's like this beautiful sunrise, you know, lots of yellows, lots of reds. And like I said, like, look at that MiG-29. I'm having no trouble keeping track of him. I don't think you guys are having trouble seeing him on the screen at all. And I don't need to draw any red circles around him to show him to you guys. So very, very impressed with the DCS Track IR at this point, or sorry, VR. And the depth perception is also different. Like, I can tell kind of how close I am to the bandit without needing like the labels and things. With, you know, with the labels they show like 0.2 nautical miles behind the guy, but on a 2D screen you're kind of just guessing without the labels. You kind of have a good idea, but it's not great. And with VR it's different. I can tell exactly how close I am, if I need to back off, and all that other stuff. Like, look at that. Look how you can see the stars. It's incredible. Incredible. Even though they really messed up this update with a bunch of stuff, like my server's having trouble with memory leaks and all that other stuff, but in terms of VR, 2.56 is pretty amazing.
Altitude.
See the reflections on the cockpit? And there's the crash. Look at that. Beautiful. So after DCS, I went over to IL-2 again, tried out some VR there, and it's very, very different for IL-2. Like, it makes a big difference to be in VR because of the fact that you're going to be deflection shooting. You're not going to have a radar gun sight, and the depth perception becomes very, very important if you're going to be deflection shooting. In my opinion, like, my shooting got a lot better when I had the VR. Without the VR and Track IR, it was decent, but it wasn't good by any means. I was wasting a lot of ammunition. But like, look at this. Every time I spray, I hit something, which is crazy for me because I'm not good at IL-2 at all. You know, I haven't played it too much. I'm not great with World War II planes by any means. The concepts of BFM remain the same pretty much for the most part, but you know, it's just not my forte. Here we are here doing a little bit of a leg roll to come up behind this BF-109 who's pissed off. I just shot down his bomber buddy. And so now I'm sitting right behind him. And like, look at how easily I can kill him. Usually it took me a long time to get the deflection shooting right and hit him perfectly. But like, look at that. That's a hit right there. An inverted hit. Like, that's not something I could ever do before. There was a couple hits right there. And I'm just sitting like nicely. Like, look at this. I have in total control of what's going on here. See, that guy just got lit up. Very, very easy for me now. And definitely something I used to struggle with in the past. The depth perception definitely helps with the deflection shooting. And also with formation flying. You know, in DCS, when you can see the depth perception, when you have the depth perception, it's much easier to fly formation with somebody. Because you can tell how far they are from you, how close your wings are to them. In 2D, it was difficult. Like, I didn't want to get too close to somebody. I was scared that I might run into them or something like that. So, like, look at this. Once again, I just lit up this guy. Couple of rounds, perfect shooting. And it's not that I'm good, it's that, you know, having that depth really helps me. And I think you could get the same experience in VR as I got here. So this is pretty much my thoughts on VR. I know I rambled a bit there, but it's pretty amazing, and I highly recommend it if you can swing it and spend the $600 or something on some sort of VR. I highly recommend it. It's pretty amazing, and I think you'll have a lot of fun. Alright guys, so that's going to be it for me. Thanks for watching. I'm having a lot of fun with VR. Hopefully looking to bring a lot more content like this to the channel. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Bye guys.